You're doing things every single day that are slowly destroying your mental strength, and you have no idea it's even happening. Let me show you what I mean. Most people think they're getting weaker because of big traumatic events or major life changes, but that's not how it works. You're not being destroyed by one big thing. You're being destroyed by 100 small things that happen every single day. These are habits so normal, so common, that you don't even question them. But the Stoics identified these patterns thousands of years ago, and they knew exactly how these daily habits drain your strength without you noticing until it's too late. Before we dive in, if you've ever felt like you're getting weaker mentally but can't figure out why, drop a comment below. And if you recognize any of these habits in yourself as we go through this, hit that like button and subscribe because we're going deep into this. The first habit that's weakening you is complaining. And before you say you don't complain that much, really think about it. How many times today did you complain about traffic, the weather, your job, other people, something being unfair? Complaining feels like you're releasing stress, but you're actually doing the opposite. You're training your brain to focus on problems instead of solutions. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the impediment to action advances action, and what stands in the way becomes the way. Basically, obstacles are opportunities if you have the right mindset. But when you complain, you're reinforcing a victim mentality. You're telling yourself that things happen to you and you have no power over them. Every complaint is a small surrender of your mental strength. And here's what makes it worse. Complaining is contagious. You complain to someone, they validate your complaint, maybe add their own complaints, and now you're both sitting in negativity together. The Stoics would say you're choosing to suffer twice, once from the actual problem and once from dwelling on it. Strong people acknowledge difficulties and immediately shift to what they can do about it. Weak people talk about how unfair everything is and stay stuck. Second habit destroying you is seeking validation from others. Every time you post something online and then check obsessively to see how many likes it got, you're weakening yourself. Every time you change your opinion based on what someone else thinks, you're weakening yourself. Every time you need someone else to tell you you're good enough, you're giving away your power. Epictetus taught that you should never depend on external things for your sense of worth, because external things can always be taken away. What if people don't validate you today? What if they criticize you instead? If your confidence lives in other people's opinions, you'll never have stable confidence. You'll be strong when people praise you and destroyed when they don't. The Stoics built their strength from within. They knew who they were and didn't need anyone else to confirm it. But most people today are so desperate for validation that they'll compromise their values, fake their personality, and chase approval from people who don't even matter to them. That's not strength. That's weakness disguised as connection. Third habit is avoiding discomfort at all costs. You hit snooze instead of getting up when the alarm goes off. You order food instead of cooking because it's easier. You scroll on your phone instead of doing the hard task you've been putting off. Every single time you choose comfort over discipline, you're training yourself to be weak. The Stoics practice something called voluntary discomfort. Seneca would deliberately sleep on a hard floor sometimes, or go without food to remind himself that discomfort wouldn't kill him. Not because he enjoyed suffering, but because he knew that avoiding all discomfort makes you fragile. When you never do hard things become impossible. When you always take the easy path, you lose the ability to walk difficult roads. Think about it. Why do you feel so tired all the time, even though your life is more comfortable than any generation in history? Because you've weakened yourself through constant comfort. Your ancestors dealt with real hardship and stayed strong. You can't handle a slightly uncomfortable conversation without having an anxiety attack. The difference isn't that life was easier for you. The difference is you've trained yourself to be weak by avoiding anything that feels difficult. Fourth habit weakening you every day is living in the past or future instead of the present. You replay conversations from last week over and over. You worry about things that might happen next month. You regret decisions you made years ago. You stress about outcomes you can't control. And while you're doing all this, you're missing the only moment that actually exists, which is right now. Marcus Aurelius said, "Confine yourself to the present." Not because the past and future don't matter, but because you can't do anything about them right now. The past is gone. The future isn't here yet. The only place you have any power is in this current moment. But you give away that power every time you let your mind wander to times you can't control. This habit makes you weak because you're never fully engaged with your life. You're at work thinking about home. You're at home thinking about work. You're with people but mentally somewhere else. You can't build strength when you're not even present for your own life. The Stoics knew that presence equals power and distraction equals weakness. Fifth habit is making excuses. Something goes wrong and immediately you explain why it wasn't your fault. You didn't get the job because the interviewer was biased. You didn't work out because you were too tired. You didn't save money because expenses are too high. There's always a reason why you couldn't do what you were supposed to do. Here's what the Stoics understood. Every excuse you make is you admitting you're not in control of your life. You're saying external circumstances are stronger than your will. And maybe that's true for one situation, but when you make it a habit, when every failure comes with an excuse attached, you're programming yourself to be powerless. Epictetus was born a slave with a permanent leg injury. He had every excuse in the world to give up on life, but he didn't make excuses. He focused on what he could control, which was his mind and his choices. He became one of the most influential philosophers in history. Meanwhile, people with every advantage in the world accomplish nothing because they're too busy explaining why things are hard. Excuses feel like they protect your ego, but really, they're just keeping you weak. Sixth habit is surrounding yourself with weak people. Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. If everyone around you complains constantly, you'll complain. If everyone around you makes excuses, you'll make excuses. If everyone around you avoids discomfort and seeks validation and lives in the past, you'll do the same. You become like the people you spend the most time with. The Stoics were very careful about who they let into their inner circle. Marcus Aurelius wrote about being grateful for the strong people in his life who challenged him to be better. He knew that surrounding yourself with weakness makes you weak. It's not about being arrogant or thinking you're better than others. It's about recognizing that you're influenced by your environment, and if your environment is full of people with destructive habits, you'll develop those same habits. Look at your closest friends. Are they pushing you to grow or enabling you to stay comfortable? Are they holding you accountable or validating your excuses? Are they mentally strong or constantly falling apart? If you're the strongest person in your group, you're in the wrong group. You need people around you who are further along than you, people who inspire you to level up, not people who keep you stuck at the same level forever. Seventh habit, weakening you is consuming garbage all day. Garbage news designed to make you angry and afraid. Garbage social media content that makes you compare yourself to others. Garbage entertainment that numbs your mind instead of challenging it. Garbage food that destroys your body. You're putting low-quality inputs into your system and wondering why you feel weak and unmotivated. Seneca said that the mind should be given relaxation, but it must be relaxation that restores, not destroys. Scrolling through negative content for 3 hours isn't relaxation. It's mental poison. Binging junk food and staying up late watching meaningless content isn't self-care. It's self-destruction. But you do it every single day because it's easy and everyone else is doing it too. The Stoics believed in guarding your mind like it was the most valuable thing you own, because it is. Everything you experience is filtered through your mind. If you fill it with garbage, your entire experience of life becomes garbage. Strong people are selective about what they consume. They read things that make them think. They watch things that inspire them. They eat things that energize them. They create more than they consume. Weak people just absorb whatever's in front of them and wonder why they feel terrible. Here's what you need to understand. These 7 habits seem small on their own. Complaining once isn't a big deal. Hitting snooze one morning won't ruin your life. Making one excuse or seeking validation one time isn't the end of the world. But you're not doing these things once. You're doing them every single day, multiple times a day, and that repetition is what's destroying you. The Stoics knew that your life is the sum of your daily actions. You don't become weak from one bad day. You become weak from 1,000 small choices repeated over time. Every complaint, every excuse, every moment of seeking comfort instead of growth, every instance of letting other people's opinions control you. It all adds up. And one day you wake up and realize you're not the person you wanted to be. You're weaker, softer, more fragile than you ever intended to become. But here's the good news. If daily habits can weaken you, daily habits can also strengthen you. Every time you catch yourself about to complain and choose gratitude instead, you get stronger. Every time you do the hard thing instead of the comfortable thing, you get stronger. Every time you stop making excuses and take responsibility, you get stronger. Strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you build through thousands of small decisions. The ancient Stoics weren't superhuman. They struggled with the same things you struggle with. The difference is they were aware of these habits and actively fought against them every single day. They journaled to catch themselves complaining. They practiced discomfort to avoid becoming soft. They surrounded themselves with strong people and consumed quality information. They took responsibility for everything in their lives and never blamed circumstances. You can do the same thing starting right now. Pick one of these 7 habits and commit to changing it today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because every day you wait is another day these habits get stronger and you get weaker. The Stoics would tell you that you have everything you need to be strong already inside you. You just have to stop doing the things that are draining that strength away.